All-Star Western number 15, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, art by Moritz Hatt. Last issue left off with Arkham coming to visit Dr. Jekyll and his servant, his assistant, whatever you want to call it. Can't even remember his name. But turns out Hyde already killed the assistant, of course, and looks like he's going to kill Arkham as well. But as we start this issue, turns out that he is actually going to just do a little experiment, and he is giving Arkham the concentrated serum, medicine, whatever you want to call it, that turned him into Hyde. And he's like, I wonder what it's going to do to you, because you are such a meek, frail, and tiny little man. I want to see what you can do with it. And he gives him just like a few drops of it and then tosses him aside before drinking a whole lot of it himself. And as we see Arkham like starting to succumb to it, Hex breaks in and he's like, Reggie, that's the name of the guy, Reggie. Reggie, I want my money. And as he comes in, he's like, hey, who are you and where's Reggie? And he's like, I'm Hyde and I ate Reggie. So yeah, also behind you. And we see Arkham is lunging after Hex, starting to attack him. And he's like, you're just kind of feral. That's disappointing. I wanted you to do something more like perverted. So Hex just bashes aside Arkham, knocks him off, and then it's just a claw-out fight between Hyde and Hex. And basically, before Hex even has time to respond to it, he is picked up by Hyde and thrown out a window, and they're really high up. They're in, like, the penthouse. So Hex is taking a tumble. He hits a few little side roofs on the ways down, but he's like, oh, this is gonna hurt, and he crashes through the roof of the bar below and literally shatters his right leg. Like, it's very graphic imagery, and they're just like, oh, guy, you need a doctor. And he's like, I don't need a doctor, there's a guy up there, he's a murderer, I gotta get back up there. And we see Hyde basically he's smacking around Arkham, just being like, seriously, you clearly have some sort of sexual frustration being the way you are. Why are you not more perverted? Why are you just going with the violent side? And Arkham's like, oh, let me show you how violent I am. And he pulls out a knife and he lunges after Hyde. And Hyde just grabs him by the throat being like, dude, you are like 120 pounds soaking wet. I am quite literally the size of a house. You do not stand a chance here. And he takes the knife from Arkham and puts it into his leg. As we see, Hex is trying to make his way up the stairs. He's literally just crawling his way up. And again, they were like a good 4 or 5 stories up. So yeah, it's going to take some time. But somehow Hex manages to make it up there before Hyde kills Arkham. And he bashes him in the back of the head with a chair. And he's like, Arkham, I'm going to need your help taking this guy down. And Arkham's just like, screw you, Hex, I'm out. And he just runs out the door. So the fight continues on, but this time Hex does manage to keep just a little bit of his wits around him. He gets the upper hand in the fight just enough to bash Hyde out the window this time. And Hyde is able to grab onto the nearby rooftop, and he makes his escape into the night. And he's like, we'll meet again, Jonah Hex. And of course, just then the police arrive, being as useless as they ever are. And Hex just tells the police, like, hey, I've got an associate who is poisoned. He's acting crazy. You need to find him. That guy who just escaped is a murderer. You need to find him. And someone help me reset my leg so I can go after them as well. And it's just like, dude, you really need a doctor. He's like, literally chasing a murderer. Help me now. So they reset his leg and put a splint on it. And then he starts limping his way out the door trying to find Arkham. And Arkham is down in the saloon below that literally had the roof crashed in a few minutes ago. He finds a woman nearby and he's like, you there with the lovely bosoms, come over here and give daddy a kiss. And she's like, I will smack the ever-loving hell out of you. And he's just like, good, I like a little bit of fight. And she does come over and just smacks the ever-loving crap out of him. And as Hex and the police arrive, they're like, Arkham, you've been poisoned. You're a little crazy. Need you to calm down. And he hides behind the woman, just be like, my future wife will show you a thing or two. And she's like, I don't even know this guy. And Hex is like, seriously though, Arkham, your mind's a little bit messed up. And he's like, I'm a brain doctor. I think I can tell whether or not I've been poisoned. I'll examine myself. And then he just drops his pants and the police tackle him. Just, all right, well, that's that. So they throw him in his own asylum. He's in an asylum. I guess I don't know it is Arkham Asylum, but he's all wrapped up in a straitjacket, and a nurse is taking care of Hex and basically telling him, like, hey, I know you really want to be up and out and you want to go chase down that guy, but if you literally do anything with that leg for the next, like, few months, you will not be able to ever walk again. So you got to chill in this chair and I will take care of you. And also the crazy guy in the cell down there. And Hex is like, all right, fine, I guess. But he always has his mind on Hyde. And then we see in Slaughter Swamp at the home of what used to be Jonathan Rood, which was a backup story in, I believe, issue like 12 or something. He was the haunted highwayman, but now Hyde has taken it over. He's got all the chemicals that Rood had, and he's like, ah, yes, I can make more of my formula here, using my trusty little black diamond, because, of course, the black diamond probability will never, ever end. It's good. It's fine. I think it spent enough time building up to this just basically extended fight scene of an issue, and it definitely made it interesting enough of, okay, we gave Hex a major injury early on and also took Arkham off the board in the sense that he wouldn't help with the fight. So it gave it a little bit more oomph as to when he is able to finally get the upper hand. I think it was structured well enough. Art-wise, looks great. It's very inky, very gritty. It fits the style as it always has. Honestly, don't really have many bad things to say about it. The only thing that I would critique slightly is the fact that it seems like we're going to be taking in story a few months off, but I have the feeling that next issue it's going to be like, and a few months have passed. And yeah, I get it. I understand it, but it would have been nice to see probably a few issues. I mean, obviously, I'm making up a criticism that I don't even know is true yet, but it is getting the vibe where the Hyde story feels like it would be better as an overarching where, like, we'll get back to him instead of just, no, we need to wrap this up as the arc ends. So that would be my only criticism. And again, I don't even know that's true, but it does feel like we're going down that path. So overall, I give this one I'll give it a 7, just a flat 7. It feels good, but it's not amazing. And it definitely feels like it's setting up more future stuff than it is wrapping up its own thing. So see where it goes from there.